Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario. That is Lily, come here. That was my dog Lily, who was eating, and this is another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. In case you don't know, this is a series I do on my second channel. Yes, I said my second channel. If you want some more, I guess, finely edited videos and something with a bit more substance that's not just game and gaming thing collectivity, then feel free to check out my second channel, Mr. Mario 2011, down below in the description. Otherwise, this is a series that I normally do with my dog Lily, in which I kind of go over the stuff that I've picked up over the past few weeks or weekend or months or so. Generally, what I do is I really like to get deals on games and gaming related things and items. As you can see, we got a console, we got some games, we got, an item right there. And when the piles start to get a little bit big, then I add them into my collection after recording a video like this. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Let's see if we can get Lily. Lily, come here. Lily, get over here. Just chill out, dude. Just chill out. This is my dog. Here. There we go. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and see what we're getting into here. And there's actually one more item I'm going to have to grab from the side, but it's all good. It's all good. So this has been collected over, I'm thinking, it's been well over a month, and it has been across a bunch of different states and several vacations and all that stuff. More, I would say, one main one, and then, we had some family join in too, so it's all good. But anyways, getting into this, Lily, what do you think? She's digging it. Anyways, let's go ahead and see what we were doing here. So these are all from different points and stuff, but at one point we were traveling. It was my girlfriend and I. We stopped at a game exchange, and I just wanted to check it out, so I ended up picking up this little stack of games here. First of all, I got to re-add this to the collection. Twisted Metal Head-On for the PSP, $8 for this. Shadow the Hedgehog on the original Xbox. I was shocked that I did not have this, and I've never played it either, so this will be fun to try out. It's a nice edgy Sonic with a gun, apparently. Right, Lily? Lily likes something about this. So that was $10. Shell Shock Nam 67. Another game, I remember this coming out. I remember watching video documentaries about it and everything, and I was shocked I did not own this game. At least on the Xbox, I didn't own it, and even if I have it on PS2, which I'm pretty sure I do, I think that's where I picked it up on. I'd rather play it on the Xbox just for the nicer looks and such, but $6 for this. And then they were doing a deal where any game that was $7.95 or lower was buy two, get one free. So I ended up getting this, Wings of War, for free. This is typically a $4 game, and it's funny because I've actually had a bootleg silver copy of it for years, meaning that when many people think of bootlegs, they typically think of something just burned onto a CDR or DVD-R disc. This is a silver, which means that it was actually it was unofficially pressed in a factory. It works just the same as a DVD-R or a CDR, except the quality is generally better because it's pressed as opposed to burned. But I ended up getting a pressed silver bootleg of this years and years ago from a thrift shop. I had a friend who worked at one, and way before I moved, but he worked at one, and I found that bootleg disc, and I said, hey, this is actually a bootleg copy, just a heads up, you can't really sell this. And he's like, oh, well, if you want it, take it. If not, I'm going to throw it away. So I've had a PAL bootleg copy of this for years. Finally have a NTSC original copy that I can mess around with, so that'll be fun to play around with, thankfully. But yeah, I ended up getting that for free because I got Shell Shock and Twisted Metal. It would have been really nice if I could have had Shadow the Hedgehog in the collection, as part of that deal, but because this was $10, I wasn't able to. So it's not like there was anything crazy there. I felt like they were, fair game store prices, which is sometimes what happens, and that's all totally good. So I guess, Lily, you're gonna get those there because she's taking up all that space. Now, next up, at one point I end up going to a Half Price Books, which you all, if you've seen this series a few times, might know that I've got some love for Half Price Books. If you can go to one, find the game section, you might be surprised. Also check out the clearance section, and oh man, if you go to the right one at the right time, the clearance section is a gold mine. Because check out what we got here. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on Xbox 360 for $3. Assassin's Creed 3 on Xbox 360 for $3. SOCOM 4 US Navy SEALs on the PS3 for $3. This is the most expensive one here, and I picked this up because I had actually never seen this disc before, but this is one of those Xbox Live Arcade game packs. A few of these came out during that generation, and it's just, Xbox Live Arcade games. A few of them are put onto a disc and officially sold physically, and y'all know, obviously, I like my physical stuff, so decided to grab this for $10 because I'd never seen it. Seemed to be a fair price, and I kind of like how basic this looks. You can tell they just threw this in there like, yep, this is a packet of some kind, here we go. And yeah, not packaged for individual sale, so I don't know which bundle this was packed into, but it was a pack-in with a game console at one point. Psychonauts, oh, this is the, actually, so scratch that, this is the most expensive one. Psychonauts are $15 on the original Xbox. This seemed to be a fair price for it. I did not have it on the original Xbox, so check it out. I now own this on the original Xbox. Guilty Gear X2, $8. Again, this was a game I've been wanting to pick up for a bit. Did not own it. $8 was fair. I have never heard of this one. Venetica, I want to say. It looked interesting. I really checked it out. Never saw it. Never heard of it before. But $8 for this. Decided to pick it up. Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel. I wasn't crazy about this one. In my opinion, the Army of Two games got worse as they went on. The first one was so fun. The second one, I don't remember what. I think it was the 40th Day. That one was okay. And Devil's Cartel, I played a little bit of it. I wasn't really feeling it, but for $3, I figured it'd be worth a shot again, just for fun. The Fallout 3 game add-on pack for Broken Steel and Point Lookout. I believe these were the first 2 out of 5 expansions released for Fallout 3. This is just a DLC disc, meaning that you pop this into your Xbox 360. It has a update, which allows Fallout 3 to recognize the DLC, and it has these 2 pieces of DLC. I believe each DLC was $10 at the time, so this was being sold for $20, and they end up making a few discs. I want to say they made a disc for DLCs 1 and 2, a disc for DLCs 3 and 4, and then by the time DLC 5 came out, they just ended up releasing a Game of the Year Complete Edition, which had the base game and all 5 DLCs for like $60. But, I like to pick these up when I can. I did not have this, so always like to be physical if I can on here, just have that backup, but physical backup original, I guess. But $3 for this. And Homefront. Figured I could give this another fair shot. I now have both Homefront games. I have Homefront on the Xbox 360 and Homefront the Revolution on Xbox One, which I still have yet to play that one, but I have seen and been told from Digital Foundry that Homefront the Revolution was horrible when it came out, and it had to get patched to oblivion, and now it is just a complete 180 of what it used to be in terms of looks and performance, and on the Xbox One X it really seems to shine. So I was happy that I think I got the Revolution from a thrift store for like $7. But anyways, $3 for this. So now I have the whole series for $10, which certainly isn't bad. And now Lily gets all these games. Right, Lily? Over here, at one point, I end up going to a vintage stock, otherwise known as Movie Trading Company, depending on where you might go and what location you see. They're both the same company. But anyways, they were doing a buy two, get one free sale on everything, like all used, not consoles, but like all used games, music, movies. And I really like how they do their buy two get one free, because you would think like here I got 9 games, so it's like, okay, your 3 cheapest games you're gonna get for free. So that's like, let's say you buy 6 $10 games and you get 3 $1 games, so you're only saving $3. That's not how they do it. They're actually, I'm not crazy about their prices. They're sometimes a little bit more inflated than other places. Sometimes they're fair. Sometimes you can get a deal. But I like to go during their sales and such, because they do it fair. And I'll run this by you. So here I got God's Eater Burst. Never played this game, but $17 on PSP. Parasite Eve, otherwise it's not officially Parasite. Okay, it is, but it doesn't have Parasite Eve in the name. It's just called The Third Birthday, but this is Parasite Eve 3, essentially. Never owned this, so I'm really happy to finally have it. $15. Dissidia 12, did not have the second Dissidia game. This was free. Luxor, The Wrath of Set, this game is really fun. Love these games, it's one of my guilty pleasure games. Darkstalkers Chronicle, The Chaos Tower, for $8. Dynasty Warriors, this was free. Then here, Dead to Rights Reckoning for $6. Secret Agent Clank, $6. Rengoku, The Tower of Purgatory, this one was free. So you see how they do it. Essentially, they price all their games, well, they stack them up from most expensive to least expensive, and then they give you each third game for free. So that's how it works out. So you end up, they fairly do a buy two get one free deal, and I very much appreciate them doing that. And of course, that all goes back to Lily. Right, Lily? All right, she doesn't care. So now coming over here, let's bring this up. This is another stack. This is from a few different places that I went to. These two were from GameStop, and I decided, you know what, let's add them to the mix here because why not? Why not? I picked these up. I figured I'd throw them in. I was with my brothers, and I ended up finding well, there was only like one GameStop available, but I ended up finding a couple PS3 games that I wanted to add into the collection. So Silent Hill Downpour did not have this on PS3, so now I have it. It was regularly $15, and thanks to one of my friends who still, by the time this video comes out, it's going to be gone, but at the time I went, he still had his Elite Pro membership. So essentially, if you have the Pro membership at GameStop, you only get 10% off used items, better than nothing, but I don't have it. I've always moved off my friends. My friend, for like the 6 months it was available, he ended up getting his Pro Elite membership, and I've been using that whenever I buy something at GameStop, used at least, but I paid $12 for this. And here, Elite Pro, as you can see, I end up getting House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut on PS3 for $8 as opposed to $10. I felt like they were fair prices, not like anything that is, to write home about. It's not like I got $2 or $3 for these, but I'd say they were fair. I went to a thrift store here and ended up getting several games here as well. So this is actually a demo disc that I had before. Shout out to my friend Donald. I actually bought it from him for like $2 or $3, brand new. I was the one who unsealed it, and I messed around with this. I think I sold it at one point because I can't find it anymore, but I ended up finding the exact same demo disc, sealed, brand new. Have not opened this up yet, but this was half off, so I paid $2.50 for this. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on PS3. I surprisingly did not have this on PS3, but paid $2.50 for this. Now these, my bad on here. If my brothers are watching at all, my bad. The next time I see you all, I need to get you these here. But I end up finding these cool little launch or pre-order coins. As you can see, free commemorative launch coin with the reservation of Super Mario Galaxy. It is not the Super Mario Galaxy game, but it is something like this. I'll even show you all real quick. They're in fantastic condition right here. I mean, a little bit bent, but pretty fantastic condition for something that's so old. And that's it. That's the coin. So you open this up, and let's check the coin out itself. It's not like, oh, that still had the sticky stuff on the back. Awesome. But yeah, that's it. It's just a little commemorative coin. Nintendo still seems to do that with some pre-orders. I know I have one for Super Mario Odyssey. I have one for Smash Bros. Ultimate. So sometimes they do it. Depends. I need to... You know what, I'm just going to have to put this to the side. I can't do this one-handed. Anyways, this store had 2 of them, and I figured I'd get one for myself, and I'd pick up the other one and give it to my brothers. I totally forgot to give it to them, so if my brothers are watching, you're going to get this second one here whenever I see you again. But anyways, that was, again, $2.50 for each. Ended up surprisingly finding a PS1 game. PS1 games I love collecting for. It's one of my favorite systems. Absolutely love collecting for them. And you'll be surprised it's actually, I don't know, it's a little bit difficult at times to find PS1 games in thrift stores. I'm able to find Xbox, PS2 games, Wii games much more plentiful, but PS1, even N64, kind of iffy to find. This was $1.50 for boxing. Put this over here. Lost Planet Extreme Condition. I paid $2 for this. Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. $2 for this. And some demos. You all know, if you've been seeing this, I love getting these demo discs. So $2 for, let's see, OXM, Official Xbox Magazine, Disc 80. And $2 for Call of Duty Black Ops on the Wii, which, fun fact, you can still play this online. Shout out to my buddy Modern Vintage Gamer, because you might see I don't have any other Wii games right now that I can really, let me double check. Yeah, that one you can't play online. So essentially, if you use like it's NWC, I want to say that's what it's called. It's like Nintendo's Wi-Fi system. If a game officially has that, like Mario Kart or maybe some of the Mario Party games, I don't know if they had online play, but Mario Kart for sure did. Mario Kart Wii, those ones are completely offline, and you have to use modifications and private servers essentially to get them back online. However, the Call of Duty games, there's 2 or 3 of them which just say Wi-Fi compatible, and these do not go through Nintendo's service at all. They actually go through Activision servers and services. So even to this day in 2019, I can pop this into a Wii, hook that Wii up to my Wi-Fi network, and then play online with no extra modifications. So that's pretty cool. I decided to pick that up. So that was about it for that little stack there. I'm just kind of trying to rearrange these a bit and move them over. And over here, I'll attack this one last. Not last in this, but last in the stack. I end up also getting Rayman Raving Rabbids 2 for $1.50 on the Wii. I had the first one, never owned or played the second one, so this will be fun to add in. At that same store, I end up getting, I think actually no, it might have been a different store. I end up getting some more demos. So here I end up getting, and these were all half off, so $2.50 for each of them. 69. Ha 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 ha. Disc 69 of official Xbox magazine. Disc 70 of official Xbox magazine. Disc 74 of official Xbox magazine. I just realized it says right there, very small. The 6 doesn't look very good there, but this is issue 76 of official Xbox magazine. And finally, issue 77 of official Xbox magazine. So not a bad pickups video for a whole bunch of demos. This right here, I end up going to another store while I was traveling, and I end up getting this, which this came with the special edition of Fallout 3, which is surprisingly pretty hard to find. I remember when I worked at a game shop, we actually had one in the case, and we did not sell it for so long. I'm sure it finally eventually sold, but for whatever reason just did not sell. But so many people always wanted to take a look at it because it had the slipcover. If you opened it, it had the game, it had the little bobblehead in there and a few other items. This is only the lunchbox, as you can see, and I looked it up. The lunchbox is a pretty fair price. I end up paying $15 for this, and I end up getting this for 2 reasons. One, I actually don't have a lunchbox or anything that I can typically put my food in, so maybe I can make this functional. I don't know. I'm going to have people in the comment section let me know, should I actually use this as an official lunchbox, or should I just display it? And that's what it came down to. If I decide to use this as a real lunchbox and impress people and such and actually put my food in there and get some use out of it, I'm not really going to lose. But if I want to use this as a display piece, then I'm not really going to lose on that either. So I figured either could be fine. But anyways, I paid $15 for this. And inside I ended up getting some stuff. And the lady at this shop was real cool. And she was going to give me a bag. And then she said, wait a minute, I can just put everything in here. So we already made use out of it. If we open this, check it out. This was not a thrift store, unfortunately. But I did end up getting all the PS1 games I could find there because they were actually pretty fairly priced. So I got one on the PS1 for $4, Cubert for $8, Urban Chaos for $4, C12 Final Resistance for $6, Perfect Weapon. This one seems interesting. I really want to play this one for $6. Broken Helix. I was not too crazy about this actually. I fired it up, and I think I really just need to pay more attention to it and try it out, but I wasn't too crazy when I played it for, a brief like 10-15 minutes. $6 for this anyways. And finally, MDK. I believe I actually have this one, but it's not complete, so now I have a complete copy of MDK, and this is real dope on the PS1. $6. So those are all the PS1 games that I end up getting inside of this nice little Fallout 3 collectible lunchbox. So that was cool. Now, I end up going to another thrift store at one point, and I ended up finding these right here. So this was a copy of Lego Star Wars that I ended up, Force Awakens. I believe it is the last one released on the Xbox 360. I ended up paying $2 for this. So I figured that was a good deal. Put that over there, and I end up finding yet another Xbox 360. This is an Elite model, obviously, has a 120 gigabyte hard drive in it, and best of all, it is a Jasper motherboard revision. It also has never been opened, so I'm probably going to have to give it a good cleaning and such. But this, I end up finding, it's now getting to the point where I'm just able to, occasionally, depending on where I go and what time and who puts them out and such, I found this one just sitting nonchalantly in the electronics section. Depending on where you might go, you might see these in like the specific game section or in the valuables section, but there's been a few times, I've been finding it more often than not now. There's been a few times I've just found a console sitting non-conspicuously with the rest of the electronics, like the Blu-ray players, DVD players, tape players, all that stuff. Anyways, this was console only with the hard drive, so I guess technically not console only, but this was only $10 after the discount. So I said, you know what, $10 for a presumably working Xbox 360 with 120 gig hard drive, that's a great deal. I say presumably working because in case you don't know, out of the FAT systems, the Jasper motherboard is the most reliable. In fact, in my opinion, I think it is the most reliable out of all of them, from my own experience at least. So when I pick up a Jasper, I expect it to work. I might expect, I don't know, maybe the DVD drive is sticking, or maybe it doesn't work, or maybe the hard drive might be busted. But out of all the Jaspers I have purchased, which I don't go out of my way and try and buy like red ring Jaspers or anything. It's generally, I'll find one that at worst it could just be like, yeah, this system has a busted disk drive or something. Even the rare times I have actually, one of my buddies at his game shop, even the rare times when I went and looked through his Xbox 360, like dead Xbox 360 collection, I picked out the Jasper models. Every single one booted up and worked fine. It was always the disk drives that were messed up. So essentially you can tell from the plug here, and you can just look up online like a diagram for how to tell which Xbox 360 model you have. But if the plug looks like that and the console is broken, if it's cheap enough, I'd recommend picking it up because the console probably works. It is more than likely a disk drive issue of some kind. These ones rarely red ring. I'm not saying they never do, but they rarely ever red ring. And from my experience, every single Jasper has booted up and booted up green just fine. The worst I've ever had to do was, I had one where a previous owner had tried to swap out the disk drive and they didn't do it properly, so I had to modify the system with a reset glitch hack, retrieve the DVD key, get my own disk drive because the one they put in there was just bunk, and I flashed that with the DVD key. So that's the worst thing I've ever had to deal with, replacing the disk drive completely. But that's about it. So Jaspers, they're hardy Xbox 360 systems. And we have one last stop right here, which is a few different, I end up going to 3 different shops here for this. So my brothers and I end up going to a thrift store, and I end up finding these games surprisingly. So I end up getting Resistance 3 on PS3, which I say surprisingly, by the way, because this thrift store that we go to, normally they don't have shit, alright? Like, I think the best thing I've ever gotten, years ago, I went there and I ended up getting a toolkit because I actually did need one. And this store specifically, not all their stuff, they do take donations, but they also get a lot of returns and a lot of stuff that is just kind of junk to Wal-Mart and Target. They end up getting that and then they sell it on their shelves. I end up getting a nice toolkit that just had stickers all over it. But I never find games or movies or anything, and surprisingly this time I did. Found a few movies as well, and I'm not going to include them here because it's not gaming explicitly. But I ended up getting Resistance 3 for the PS3 for $5, which I felt like was a good deal. A little bit pricey maybe compared to other thrift store finds I might find, but I figured $5, good deal, and I don't have this in my collection. And I surprisingly found Samba de Amigo on the Wii. And this was $3, which is more what I would expect to find at a thrift shop. These are both complete as well, so I thought these were nice little pickups. Now, it was funny because they had the PS3 games in a case, and on one stack, all the PS3 games were $5. On the other stack, all the PS3 games were $20. And as I looked at it, I was like, this is like the only good deal I can find of a game which I do not have and I want. There were other games which were good deals for $5, but I already owned them. And there were other games for $20, and I can tell you none of them were worth $20. It was like Uncharted 3, $20. The first Resistance, $20, but then Resistance 3 was $5. So that's why sometimes you'll run into just inconsistencies with pricing and such there. Now, I end up going to another what is it? Another, I keep wanting to say movie trading company. It's the same thing, but I went to another vintage stock, and I ended up getting, surprisingly, some Vita games here. So I got Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. Never played this before, but I figured I'd pick it up. Norn 9. Thanks. Norn 9 on the Vita for 20 bucks. And Tales of Hearts R for 20 bucks. One of my best friends, Sean, I actually showed him this and I asked him if he's ever played it, and he was like, no, I've never even heard of it, because he's a pretty big, say he's a big Tales fan, at least the biggest one I know. And I told him, yeah, it seems to be a exclusive for the PS Vita, and apparently the Western release, the one we got in, in the US, the physical release was the GameStop exclusive. So this was only purchasable at GameStop if you wanted it physically. And he said, yeah, I didn't pay attention to the Vita. I don't own a Vita. I've never owned one, so that would explain why I haven't heard of it. But that's really awesome, and it seems to be in solid condition. But I picked these up because I got another buy two get one free deal. So these two were 20 bucks a piece, and this ended up being free. So I figured that'd be a good deal. I've also really been gunning after Vita games recently because my girlfriend actually ended up getting a Vita. I was able to hook her up with one. She's very much been enjoying it, and it gave me a really good excuse to buff up my Vita collection, because essentially anything I buy, she has access to. And I want to get some more Vita games, because now it's prices are starting to climb a bit on there, and it has really awesome games. I enjoy the Vita. So end up grabbing these three. Not a bad deal. Now before I move on here, this was real cool. This was cool. I am going to give a shout out here. Shout out to, I think he normally watches these videos, but shout outs to Executioner. I know him and I, we've at least corresponded on Twitter several times over the years. He's helped me out with some PS1 related stuff, and he has shown me his Target and Walmart clearance pickups many times. And man, I think it's all location, and timing, because I never have the deal. I never see the deals that he ends up seeing. I hear about them, but it's very much your mileage may vary. Well, this here, I end up going to a Walmart, and this was a excellent deal I ended up seeing. It wasn't just like good, it wasn't just great. Like my jaw was on the floor and I was just freaking out. Like I was with my girlfriend, and I said, I saw a big clearance section, and I said, hey, let's look in the games here. There might be some Vita games, so look for blue stuff like this. And I started looking, I was like, wait, these are the games they have, and like they're this cheap? And I'm building up some suspense here, because I was just utterly shocked at what I found. Because many times, if I go, and first of all, it will be shocking to me if I even find a game clearance section at Walmart. And then if I do find one, it's like really old games for 15, 20 bucks a piece. And if I find some really cheap ones, they are the ones that nobody wants. So I really never buy from the clearance section. But I end up finding these, and let's just get into this. So first of all, this is the cheapest game I found. Prototype 2, brand new on the PS3 for $1. This was so cheap I couldn't say no to this. Alright, I don't have this on PS3, and I couldn't say no to this, so I decided to pick it up. Here we go, now we're getting into the good stuff. We Happy Few, and these are all brand new, by the way. These are all from Walmart. Brand new, We Happy Few on PS4 for $5. Wolfenstein: The New Order and the Old Blood for $5. Vampire or Vampire, however you want to say it, for $5. Sniper Elite 4 for $5. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection for $5. At Marvel Pinball Epic Collection Volume 1, $3. I like pinball, and this was so cheap I couldn't say no to it. Minecraft Story Mode, The Complete Adventure, and this is the one that it actually has all the episodes on the disc here. Every single episode's on the disc. It's not a season pass disc, and unfortunately, this went through some bullshit, alright? I'm just going to say that. In short, in case you don't know, by the time you're watching this video, you cannot download this anymore. Even if you own the game, you cannot download this. This Minecraft Story Mode, both Seasons 1 and 2, have been completely delisted on every storefront. Steam, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live. And I would say even the Switch, Nintendo Switch Online as well, too. And the really disappointing thing is, typically when games get delisted, there's always that clause where it's like, oh yeah, well, as long as you have this added to your library and it is on your account, you can always re-download them. Nope. Telltale completely went all out fuckery on this. I'm going strong on this because I really hate it. But they said, nope, you have until July something, let's say July 1st. If you have not purchased the games, you should purchase them now. And if you have already purchased them, you need to download them now, because after July 1st, we are going to remove them from the storefronts and you can never ever download them again, ever. So the only ways to play these games now, let's say you're just hearing about this, the only ways to play this game is if, one, you have access to an account which has the games downloaded in their entirety. Two, you end up picking a disc like this, which has all of them physically on the disc, not a season pass disc, the one that actually contains all the episodes physically on the disc. Or three, you pirate them. Those are the only ways to do it. And the thing that really frustrates me is that this game, it's not even super old. When did this one come out? Hold on. This came out in 2015. Yeah, 2015, 2016. This is not an old game. This is no more than 4 years old. There's really no excuse for that to happen, so it's extremely disappointing. So that's why now, if I find copies of this, like physically, I pick them up. So if I find, a good Xbox 360 complete copy of it for a good price, I'm going to pick it up, but it's very disappointing. And by the way, speaking of 360, the last game I got was Prototype 2, Xbox 360 for $5. And this one has the nice little slip cover and everything on it too. Oh, and it's the RadNet edition. And it is the Wal-Mart edition too, which apparently has a copy of Prototype with it. It seems to just be a download code, and I already own the first Prototype physically, but cool. I end up getting 2 copies of Prototype 2, because again, this one has everything, and I don't have this physically on Xbox 360, and then this one for $1, can't even pass that up. Worst case, even if I completely hated the game, guess what? I have a nice PS3 cut case, so it's all good. But yeah, that was about it for this. And the funny thing was, I ended up getting a lot more than this. I ended up, the reason why I have this stack here, it's not like much bigger, is because I actually decided to go all out, and I found what I wanted and put it in, and then I said, wait a minute, I could maybe resell some of these. So this is my keep. These are what I'm keeping here, and some of these games I end up buying duplicates of. Some of them I didn't. Like, for example, Wolfenstein, they only had 1 copy of it, so I kept that for myself. Minecraft, they only had 1 copy of it, but a few others I found duplicates of. And what I did was I essentially looked up the prices online, and if it seemed to be fair, like I was putting $5 into the game, plus I'd have to account for any type of selling fees, plus I had to account for shipping as well too. If it was worth it, I ended up picking up the game. And I ended up buying a bunch of other games. I bought a bunch of other duplicates, put them up for sale. Some of them I still have, and they're still for sale, but some of them I still have. The rest of them, I can say, I made all my money back on the games I purchased for resale, the games I purchased for myself, and I profited as well too. So far, without me even finishing selling all of them, I have profited out of all the money I spent on the Wal-Mart games. So I was really happy about that. So the very last thing I want to show you all, aside from Lily the dog, is something that technically I did not get for free, but I got like re-gifted to me. I guess that would be the term. And oh God, I fell. Sorry, Lily. Let me bring this up here. This, one of my all-time favorite consoles, and this is great here. This is, of course, the original PlayStation. It is a, let's see here, a 5501 model. And the reason why I'm showing you all this is because I did not get it this time around, but I ended up getting it from my brothers. Let me just, let me move some. I don't want to put this all over the games, but I want to move this a little bit here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Just like here. So let me give you all the story. When I first started getting into hard modding and such, I wanted to mod chip a PS1. Like that was just that was a goal for me. I wanted to install a mod chip in a PS1. My childhood PS1 I ended up killing. I ended up getting another couple PS1s. One of them I broke. The other one I broke. This is, I think, the 4th one, and I finally got it all done right. Because I remember I had purchased 3 PS1 systems, and I said, okay, because like I think one of them was to replace the broken one, and the other 2 were just so cheap I picked them up. They were like $5 or $10. And I said, I have 3 chances. And the first one I destroyed, the second one I destroyed. This was technically the hardest one to install in. And I'm just like, God almighty, God, the powers that be, please help me. And I successfully installed a Stealth 4. I believe that's what it is, a Stealth 4 mod chip inside of this system here. It was a pain because even my soldering iron, it got stuck at the highest temperature, so whenever it was getting way too hot, I had to unplug that shit. I was using a janky Radio Shack soldering iron. It was so painful, but man, I got through the process and I had successfully modified this system with that stealth mod chip, which in my opinion is better than the MM3 mod chip that I typically use now. So I ended up even buying it like pre-wired and such, and paid I think like $20 for the mod chip. But anyways, my brothers really wanted to play the Final Fantasy games. So what I did was, I remember I had backed up my own, and I gave my brothers the PlayStation with at least one controller, their own memory cards, and a few games. And I said, like, guys, this is my pride and joy here. This is like the first, not my first PlayStation, but this is my first modded PlayStation that I ever modded by myself. This is the first successful hard mod I have ever performed. Like, and I'm passing it on to you guys, and they really appreciated it. And one of my brothers got a decent amount into Final Fantasy VII. He was very much enjoying it. And what happened was, recently when I was hanging out with them, my parents had a PS3 that has, for lack of a better term, has just been collecting dust. They don't use it anymore. They didn't play on it. They weren't really messing around with any of the games. And even for media playback consumption or media streaming, they have a media streaming box. They no longer need to use the PS3. So I asked, hey, do you mind if I repurpose this? They said, sure. I ended up taking it. Not like for myself, but I took it. I jailbroke it thanks to PS3 exploit tools, and I ended up hooking up my brothers with, the things that they needed on their PS3. So for example, they can play Final Fantasy VII on there. Now, what happened with that was we got it all hooked up. It's displaying a nice crisp HDMI, and my brothers aren't like me when it comes to this. Like, they love video games, but as you can see, I'm a collector. I like to have this stuff, and I'll play what I can, but my brothers are very much more functional, so they do enjoy having collectibles. There's sometimes there's games I'll collect and I won't play for years or something, or I might sell them before I play them, but if they get a game, they will play it for the most part. And when it comes to systems, they're also very functional. So if they really want to if, for example, the PS4, they don't have a PS4. If there's a game that comes out that they really, really want, they will want to pick up a PS4. But they aren't going to pick up a PS4 just for giggles or just because it's cheap. They need to have a reason to pick it up because they want to play the thing. And if they don't want to play the thing, even if I give it to them, they're not really going to use it. So I had repurposed the PS3 as a game system again. I had given them reasons to play it, and my brother, one of them was even thinking, he's like, we might need to disconnect the PS1. I don't know. Like, we might need to disconnect it. And after a few days, he was like, we're not going to use the PS1 anymore. We only really used it for Final Fantasy VII, and they displayed it on composite on their flat screen TV. There's like, look, it doesn't really look that good. Like, I tolerated it, but we didn't really play the PS1 all that much just because, it didn't look all that good, and it's kind of janky to play around with. But now we have the PS3, and it has Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII on there, and it has HDMI, and it has wireless controllers. So we have pretty much no reason to use the PS1 anymore. So if you want to, they even said, they're like, we're going to just disconnect it from our system. If you want to, you can take it back. Like, we're not going to miss it. However, if you don't want to take it, we'll just kind of store it or something. And I'm like, nope, this is mine. Thank you so much. Wait. Are you sure you want to get rid of it? And they're like, yeah, we're sure. We got the PS3. It has HDMI. It looks a lot better. It's all good. So I got my PS1 back. This thing, I think I ended up paying $15 or $20 for it years ago. I ended up paying about $20 for the mod chip. Soldered it in. It's actually been in a video before on my main channel. I have a video called Mario's PS1 soldering adventure, something like that. This is the same PS1 that was in that video. This is the same PS1 I used for a while that I then gave to my brothers, and years later I got it back. I think it's been 3 years since I have actually owned this in my collection here. And it's not the first system I've had re-gifted to me. Years and years ago, I bought one of my brothers a Game Boy Advance, and then when they ended up hanging out with me, they said, hey, we don't use this anymore, so here you go, you can have it. So that's a nice thing of keeping it in the family. I'm very much a person like that, where any of the systems I end up giving them, I tell them, hey, this is yours, don't sell it. Do not sell it. If you ever get bored of it or you want to get rid of it, you give it back to me. But this is yours. This is yours, don't worry, because I don't let them I think they've borrowed my Wii U before, but that was when it was still pretty new. But for the most part, I'm just like, nah, I can get you something and I'll give it to you. I just don't want you to sell it, please. Because I also know that I'm sure many people who watch this kind of have regrets on buying things and then selling them and then wanting them back later. So I kind of want that as well too. So, you know, they used the PS1 and they decided not to use the PS1. They went to the PS3. They gave me the PS1. But in case they ever want to go back to PS1, guess what? I got this right here. And maybe this one I'll keep. I don't know. I might just keep this one and I'll just let them use another one, and I'll just transfer over the memory card, something like that. But either way, this is not... It's not really a pickup, and it wasn't really thrifty either. I guess it was a fair price when I got the PS1 years and years ago. But yeah, this is something that came back into my collection, so I'm happy to have this one again. But that is it. That is it for this episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. Let me try and find... Lily, come here! Lily, come here! Okay, she's coming. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, a like would absolutely be appreciated. If you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well too. But just remember, if you dislike this video, I mean, it's all good. You're just going to make this dog who's going into the corner, you're going to make her very, very sad.